Now, let me ask you this right out of the gate. Is your career currently basking in a summer of success, brimming with abundance and recognition? Or perhaps you feel you're enduring a harsh winter? A time of chill, of challenge, where things seem to have frozen over. Maybe, just maybe, you're in that hopeful springtime, diligently planting seeds, tilling the soil of your potential, full of anticipation for what's to come. Or could it be you're in a rich autumn, enjoying the fruits of your long labor? Do you recognize the season you are in? And here's the kicker, my friends. More importantly, are you adapting your strategies, your mindset, your activities accordingly? Because if you're trying to harvest in the dead of winter, you're in for a disappointment. And if you're lounging around when it's time to plant, well, you can imagine what your autumn will look like. You see, this is the universal challenge, isn't it? The common experience. We all start out with dreams, with ambitions. We want a professional life that's not just a means to an end, but a journey of growth, of contribution, of fulfillment. We don't set out aiming for stagnation, for hitting a plateau where the view never changes. We certainly don't sign up for the bitter taste of regret, wondering what might have been if only we'd done things a little differently, understood things a little more clearly. Yet, how many find themselves there, stuck, or knocked back by an unexpected turn of events? A market shift, a company restructuring, a skill that suddenly isn't in demand anymore. These are the winters of our careers, and they can be harsh. They can test our resolve. And then there are those exhilarating periods of intense growth, the spring of new opportunities, new roles, new learning, blossoming into the summer of peak productivity and reward. We all desire that continuous upward trajectory, that feeling of evolution. But life, my friends, isn't a straight line pointing ever upwards without interruption. It moves in cycles. It has its rhythms, its patterns. And this is where a little bit of timeless wisdom can serve us profoundly. I've often talked about the seasons of life, and this concept, this beautiful and powerful metaphor, applies just as directly, just as fundamentally to your career, to your ambition. Your career has seasons. Just like the farmer understands the seasons of the soil, we must understand the seasons of our professional endeavors. Wisdom lies in recognizing each season for what it is, understanding its unique demands and opportunities, and then leveraging that understanding rather than fighting against it, rather than resisting the natural flow. You can't get angry at winter for being cold, can you? You can't scold the spring for requiring you to get your hands dirty and plant. The beautiful truth is that proactively managing these career seasons, by learning when it's time to learn, adapting when circumstances change, and always preparing for what's next. This is the master key to unlocking long-term ambition and achieving sustainable success. It's about being a student of the process, a steward of your own potential. So today we're going to delve into this. We're going to explore this idea of career seasons and unpack their distinct characteristics. We'll look at strategies for not just surviving, but thriving and learning during those productive summers and, yes, even those challenging winters. We'll talk about the crucial importance of proactive planting, the continuous development of skills, the nurturing of networks, the thoughtful crafting of plans, all aimed at ensuring bountiful future harvests in the form of opportunities, advancements, and deep satisfaction. And finally, we'll see how embracing this cyclical view, this understanding of the seasons, fosters a profound resilience and a commitment to continuous improvement that will serve you in every aspect of your ambition. Think of your career not as a ladder to be climbed blindly, but as a field to be cultivated, season after season. Each season brings its own tasks, its own challenges, and its own rewards. The wise farmer doesn't wish for an endless summer. They understand that winter has its purpose, just as spring and autumn do. They prepare for each, and they work with the season, not against it. That's what we're here to discuss. How you can become that wise farmer of your own ambition. How you can ensure that each cycle of seasons in your career yields a richer harvest than the last. It's a powerful way to live, a powerful way to build a career, and it's available to every single one of you. Are you ready to take a look? Good. All right, let's dig a little deeper into this foundational idea. Understanding the career seasons. It's one thing to acknowledge that life has cycles. It's another to truly grasp how this applies to the day in, day out reality of your professional journey. So when I talk about the seasons of life as a metaphor for your career, what do I mean? Let's break it down simply and clearly. First, you have spring. Hey, spring. This is the season of new beginnings, of fresh starts. In your career, this could be your first job out of school, a new role in a different company, or even the launch of your own entrepreneurial venture. It's a time characterized by intense learning. You're absorbing information like a sponge, acquiring new skills, understanding the lay of the land. It's a period of high energy, enthusiasm, and often a fair bit of uncertainty. You're planting seeds, the seeds of knowledge, the seeds of relationships, the seeds of good work habits. You might not see immediate, massive results in spring, but the work you do here is absolutely fundamental. You're laying the groundwork, you're tilling the soil, preparing it, and carefully placing those precious seeds of future potential. It's a time of investment, often more investment of effort than immediate return. But the wise person knows no planting in spring, no harvest in autumn. It's as simple as that. Then comes summer. Summer in your career is a time of growth, of burgeoning productivity. Those seeds you planted in spring are now sprouting. And with diligent cultivation, consistent effort, focus, and attention, they begin to flourish. You're hitting your stride. You're becoming more proficient, more confident. You're starting to see the tangible results of your earlier efforts. Projects are succeeding. Recognition might be coming your way, and you're reaping some early reward. The days are long, and there's a lot of work to be done, but it's often invigorating work because progress is visible. You're nurturing what you've planted, weeding out distractions, and ensuring everything is growing strong and healthy. This is a season of active engagement, of making hay while the sun shines, as they say. It's a vibrant, productive time, and it feels good. Next, we transition into autumn. This is the season of the peak harvest, my friends. This is where your established expertise, your years of consistent effort, your accumulated wisdom, all come together to produce significant success. You're reaping the major rewards of the seeds planted in spring and cultivated through many summers. You might be at the top of your field, a recognized leader, enjoying substantial financial success, or experiencing a deep sense of accomplishment and fulfillment from your contribution. The storehouses are filling up. This is the time to gather it all in, to appreciate the abundance that your diligence has created. It's a wonderful season, often marked by a sense of mastery and security. But even in autumn, the wise farmer is thinking ahead, perhaps selecting the best seeds from the harvest for the next planting. And finally, there is winter. Now, winter often gets a bad rap. In nature, it's a time of cold, of dormancy, of shorter days. In a career, winter can manifest as a slowdown, a period of challenge, perhaps a setback. It could be a project failing, a company downsizing, your skills becoming less relevant, or simply a period where opportunities seem scarce. It can feel like a barren time, but, and this is crucial, winter is not just an ending. It's also a vital part of the cycle. It's a time for rest, for reflection, for deep strategic planning. It's the season to take stock, to learn the hard lessons from any difficulties encountered. It's when you go inside, metaphorically speaking, to conserve energy, to study, to plan for the next spring. Winter forces us to confront realities, to strengthen our foundations, and to prepare for the renewal that inevitably follows. Without winter, there's no impetus to truly innovate, to truly reevaluate. So the first step is recognizing these distinct characteristics. The energy of spring is different from the bounty of autumn, and the challenges of winter require a different response than the productivity of summer. Now you might ask, Jim, why is recognizing and understanding these career seasons so vital? That's a fair question. Here's why. It prevents profound discouragement during the inevitable winters. If you understand that winter is a season, a natural and temporary phase, you're less likely to think it's a permanent failure on your part. You'll know that spring will come again if you use the winter wisely. Understanding the seasons also guards against complacency during the summers and autumns. When things are going great, when the sun is shining and the harvest is plentiful, It's easy to think it will last forever, to kick back and forget to keep planting, learning and preparing for future cycles. But seasons always change. The wise person enjoying a bountiful autumn remembers that winter is coming, and eventually another spring will require new seeds. And most importantly, this understanding ensures continuous preparation for what's next. It allows for strategic rather than reactive career management. You're not just lurching from crisis to crisis or drifting from one good spell to another. You're anticipating, you're planning, you're acting with purpose according to the season you're in and the season you're preparing for. This directly connects to one of the most fundamental truths I've ever learned. You cannot change the seasons, but you can change yourself. You can't stop winter from arriving in your career. Market forces will shift, industries will evolve, unexpected challenges will arise. Those are the seasons, you can't change them. But you can change your response. You can change your kills. You can change your attitude. You can change your work habits. You can change your level of preparation. You can adapt your behaviors and your expectations to align with the current career season. That's where your power lies, not in trying to make it summer all year round, but in becoming the kind of person who can thrive in any season. Let me paint you a couple of pictures. Contrast two professionals. First, imagine Sarah. Her company announces a major downsizing. A harsh career winter descends. Sarah panics. She frantically applies for any job she sees, whether it's a good fit or not. She complains bitterly about her bad luck, about the unfairness of it all. She isolates herself. Her confidence plummets, and she makes rash decisions based on fear. She's trying to fight the winter, to deny it, and it's only making her colder and more miserable. Now consider David. He faces the same downsizing, the same career winter. But David understands seasons. He acknowledges the difficulty, sure, but he doesn't panic. He sees winter as a time for introspection and strategic repositioning. He uses his severance to invest in a certification for an emerging skill in his industry. He reaches out to his network, not just to ask for jobs, but to learn, to gather information, to offer help to others also affected. He reflects on what he truly wants from his career. He uses the quiet of winter to plan his next spring. When new opportunities arise, David is not just ready. He's stronger, more focused, and has new value to offer. See the difference? Sarah was a victim of winter. David used winter to prepare for a more abundant spring. Or think about summer. Picture Maria, a talented executive in her career summer. Her projects are succeeding. Bonuses are good. Promotions are coming. She's basking in the warmth. But she becomes complacent. She stops learning new things. Thinking she's arrived, she spends lavishly, assuming the good times will never end. She doesn't invest in her team, doesn't look at the horizon for emerging trends. When an unexpected market shift occurs, a sudden autumn squall turning into an early winter, she's caught completely off guard. Her skills are a little dated. Her network is a bit stale. And she hasn't built the reserves, financial or professional, to weather the storm easily. Compare her to John, also in his career summer. He's equally successful, but he understands that summer is not just for enjoying, but also for preparing. He diligently invests a portion of his earnings. He mentors junior colleagues, strengthening his team and his leadership skills. He carves out time each week to learn about new technologies and market trends, even if they don't seem immediately relevant. He's enjoying the sunshine, yes, but he's also wisely repairing the roof, so to speak, and even planting a few hardy seeds that might sprout in a later season. When that market shift comes, John is far better positioned. He might feel the chill, but he has reserves, updated skills, and a strong network. He transitions more smoothly, perhaps even seeing opportunity where Maria only sees crisis. Life and business, my friends, are like the seasons. I've said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it again because it's true. There will be times of planting, times of cultivating, times of harvesting, and yes, times of resting and regrouping. Understanding this changes everything about how you approach your career. Downturns are not the end. They are often signals that a new approach, new skills, a new spring is required. Opportunities will follow downturns, but only if you've used the winter to prepare. If you're still lamenting the end of autumn when spring arrives, you'll miss the chance to plant. So let me ask you to pause for a moment. Reflect. Which career season do you most identify with right now? Are you in the energetic learning phase of spring, the productive growth of summer, the bountiful harvest of autumn, or the reflective, sometimes challenging period of winter? Be honest with yourself. And then ask, are your current activities, your mindset, your focus truly aligned with the demands and opportunities of this specific season? Are you working with it or against it? Understanding the season is the first indispensable step. Without this clarity, you're navigating in the dark. But with it, you have a map, a compass, and the power to make each season serve your ultimate ambition. This isn't just theory. This is practical wisdom for building a career of substance and lasting reward. Think on it. Now that we've laid the groundwork for understanding what these career seasons are, let's get into the real meat of it. What you do in these seasons. Specifically, let's focus on two of the most critical junctures, the often dreaded winter and the bountiful harvest of autumn. It's not enough to simply identify the season. You need active strategies to navigate them effectively. Let's start with career winters. As we've discussed, these are periods of challenge, slowdown, or setback. It could be a job loss, a project failure, a skill becoming obsolete, or an industry downturn. The natural human tendency is to hunker down, to try and just survive. But I tell you, my friends, winters are not just for survival. They are for deep learning, for resilience building, and for strategic planning. If all you do in winter is shiver and wait for spring, you'll emerge weak and unprepared. Why is it so crucial to have distinct strategies for winter? Because passivity during a career winter leads directly to being unprepared for the opportunities that spring will bring. Winter is when the ground rests, yes, but it's also when the wise farmer is sharpening tools, studying new farming techniques, planning crop rotations, and mending fences. If you neglect these winter tasks in your career, you'll miss the narrow window of spring planting. And your next harvest will be meager if it comes at all. This brings me to one of the most powerful philosophies I know, something that has served me well through all the seasons of my own life. Personal responsibility. Even in the depths of a career winter, when things seem out of your control, there are always things you can do. You can't control the economic climate, perhaps, or your company's decisions. But you can control your response. You can choose to learn. You can choose to rebuild your network. You can choose to reflect honestly on your strengths and weaknesses. You can choose to craft a plan for your next move. Success in any season, but especially in winter, comes from what you do with it. Don't blame the season. Take charge of yourself. Let's look at some illustrative examples. Imagine an individual. Let's call her Emily. She's a mid-level manager, and her entire department is eliminated due to a merger. A classic career winter. She could spend her days feeling bitter, replaying the unfairness of it. Instead, after the initial shock, Emily decides to view this as an unexpected, albeit enforced, sabbatical. She'd always been interested in data analytics, a skill increasingly valuable in her field. She uses a portion of her severance to enroll in an intensive online certification program. Simultaneously, she starts volunteering her project management skills at a local nonprofit, keeping her mind engaged and expanding her network into a new sector. She actively reaches out to former colleagues, not to ask for jobs, but to understand market trends and offer support. By the time she completes her certification, she's not just Emily, the downsized manager. She's Emily, the experienced manager with fresh data analytics skills and a broadened perspective. She doesn't just survive winter. She emerges stronger, more skilled, and with a renewed sense of purpose, ready for a vibrant new spring. She used the winter. Now let's turn to the other side of the coin. Leveraging harvests, autumns. Autumn is a wonderful time. You're reaping the rewards of years of hard work, Perhaps you're a successful entrepreneur, your business is thriving, profits are strong, or you're a senior executive enjoying the culmination of a well-played career. It's tempting, isn't it, to just sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor exclusively? To think, I've made it, time to coast. But why is it crucial to have strategies even during this bountiful season? Because failing to leverage a harvest properly can lead to missed opportunities for future growth, for future security, and for making an even greater impact. Autumn is not just for taking. It's also for sowing the seeds for future harvests, and for securing what you've built. The wise farmer in autumn doesn't just eat all the grain. They save the best seeds for the next planting. They repair the barn. They invest in better equipment for the future. Consider a successful entrepreneur. Let's call him Michael. His software company is in its autumn. Highly profitable. A leader in its niche. He could simply take large dividends, buy a bigger boat, and let the company run on autopilot. But Michael understands seasons. While enjoying his success, he also does the following. He diversifies his company's investments, creating a financial cushion. He reinvests a significant portion of the profits into research and development, looking for the next innovation, anticipating how the market might shift. He focuses on developing his leadership team, mentoring his key people, ensuring the company has strength and depth. He might even start a philanthropic foundation, using his success to give back and create a legacy. He is, in essence, using the abundance of autumn to plant seeds for future autumns, and to ensure the farm can withstand any coming winters. He's not just harvesting, he's also fortifying and future-proofing. This echoes another piece of wisdom I hold dear. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. This applies powerfully to weathering career winters. Don't sit around wishing the job market was booming or your old skills were still in demand. Wish you were better. Use the winter to become better, to acquire new knowledge, to develop stronger character, to build resilience. That's how you conquer winter, not by wishing it away, but by growing through it. And for those in their autumn, remember this saying. The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. When things are going well, when the profits are rolling in, when your reputation is strong, that is the time to prepare for leaner times. That's the time to innovate, to invest in your own development and the development of your team, to diversify, to strengthen your foundations. If you wait until the storms of winter are upon you to fix the roof, my friends, you're in for a very wet and miserable time. So I ask you to reflect again. Think about a past career winter you've experienced. What did you learn from it? What did you do well? And with the wisdom of hindsight, what could you have done differently to emerge even stronger, even better prepared for the next spring? Don't shy away from this reflection. The lessons of past winters are precious seeds for future wisdom. And if you are currently in a harvest period, an autumn of your career, ask yourself, how are you leveraging this abundance? Are you merely consuming the fruits? Or are you also wisely sowing seeds for the future? Are you repairing your roof while the sun shines? Are you investing in yourself, in your people, in your future security, in growth? Because autumn, as beautiful as it is always followed by winter, and then by the call to a new spring. Your actions now, in this season of harvest, will determine the quality of many seasons to come. Navigating winters with fortitude and foresight, and leveraging harvests with wisdom and prudence. These are not just good ideas, they are essential disciplines for anyone serious about building a career that is not only successful, but also sustainable and deeply fulfilling. Don't let the seasons manage you. You manage yourself within the seasons. That's the key. We've talked about understanding the seasons, and we've delved into navigating the critical periods of winter and autumn. Now let's turn our attention to an activity that, while most associated with spring, is actually a discipline for all seasons. If you truly want continuous improvement and sustained ambition, proactive planting. What do I mean by proactive planting? I mean those crucial springtime activities that are essential for future success, regardless of the specific career season you find yourself in right now. This is about continuous learning, diligent skill acquisition, strategic networking, the consistent setting of new and challenging goals, And above all, maintaining a vibrant growth mindset. This, my friends, is about consciously and consistently planting seeds for the harvests you desire in your future. It's not a one-time event, it's an ongoing process. Why is this continuous planting so utterly essential? It's simple, really. Because the world doesn't stand still, does it? Industries evolve at a dizzying pace. Skills that were valuable yesterday can become outdated tomorrow. New technologies emerge, new market demands arise, and new opportunities blossom. But they typically blossom for those who are prepared, for those who have already planted the necessary seeds. If you stop planting, you stop growing. And if you stop growing, you're effectively going backward, because the world around you is certainly not standing still. This embodies one of my core philosophies, a commitment to continuous improvement. You should never, ever rest on your laurels. The moment you think you've arrived, the moment you stop striving to learn and grow, is the moment you begin to stagnate. Proactive, continuous planting is the antidote to stagnation. It's the engine of progress. This connects powerfully to another fundamental idea I've shared for decades. Success is not to be pursued. It is to be attracted by the person you become. Think about that for a moment. Chasing success can be frustrating, like chasing a butterfly. But when you focus on becoming a person of value, when you diligently plant the seeds of knowledge, skill, character, and strong relationships, success tends to find you. Opportunities are drawn to the prepared mind, to the skilled hand, to the individual who is clearly invested in their own growth. Continuous planting is the very process of becoming that attractive force, that magnet for the success you desire. You don't find opportunities. You create the conditions for them to find you by who you are becoming. So how do we make this practical? How do you engage in this proactive planting on a consistent basis? First, I want you to identify 1 to 3 key areas for planting in your current career trajectory. Where do you need to grow to reach your next set of goals? Perhaps it's learning a new technology that's reshaping your industry. Don't wait until your current tech skills are obsolete. Start learning now. Plant that seed. Maybe it's improving your leadership skills. You want to move into management or be a more effective leader where you are. So read books on leadership, find a mentor, take a course, practice active listening and empathy with your team. Plant those seeds. Could it be expanding your professional network in a specific target area or industry you want to move into? Then make a plan to attend relevant events, even virtual ones. Connect with people thoughtfully on professional platforms. Offer value to others in that network. Plant those seeds of connection. Don't try to plant 100 different things at once. You'll spread your efforts too thin. Pick a few vital areas and focus your planting energy there. Second, remember my advice on consistent effort. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. This is the absolute key to effective planting. It's not about one heroic effort once a year. It's about small, consistent actions day in and day out, week in and week out. Dedicate just 30 minutes a day to reading about your industry or learning that new skill. That's over 180 hours in a year. Make it a goal to have one meaningful conversation with someone in your target network each week. Set aside an hour on Sunday evening to plan your planting activities for the week ahead. These are simple disciplines. They don't require genius. They require commitment. They require consistency. Imagine planting a seed and then ignoring it. What happens? Nothing much. But if you plant that seed and water it a little bit every day, protect it, give it sunshine, then over time something remarkable happens. Growth. It's the same with your skills, your knowledge, your network. Small, daily, consistent efforts compound over time into massive results. That's the magic of disciplined planting. And this brings me back to a distinction I often make. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. Working hard on your job is important, of course. It's how you handle your current responsibilities. It's how you perform in your current season. But planting, my friends, That is working hard on yourself. That is the investment in your future value, your future capabilities, your future opportunity. Making a living is fine, but if you aspire to more, to a career fortune not just in money but in fulfillment, impact, and growth, then you must dedicate yourself to working on you. That's where the real leverage is. That's how you ensure that each future season is richer than the last. The beauty of proactive planting is that you can do it in any season. In spring, of course, planting is your primary activity. You're all in, learning, growing, establishing. In summer, while you're cultivating your current crop, you should also be planting for future varieties, perhaps experimenting with new types of seeds, skills, knowledge on a smaller scale. In autumn, as you harvest, you're also selecting the best seeds from that harvest to plant in future springs. You're reinvesting some of your bounty into preparing the soil for new growth. And yes, even in winter, there is planting to be done. This is when you can plant seeds of reflection, of deep learning from challenges, of strategic planning. You can plant by reading, by studying, by retooling. Winter is an excellent time to plant the seeds of new understanding that will inform all your future actions. So, let me ask you this very practical question. What specific seeds, what skills, what knowledge, what connections, what personal qualities do you need to be planting right now to ensure your career harvests will be bountiful in 1 year, 5 years, even 10 years from now? Don't just think about it vaguely. Get specific. Write them down. And then here's the challenge. What one small, consistent action can you commit to starting this week? To begin planting one of those seeds. Not next month. Not when things calm down. This week. Because the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. The same is true for the seeds of your career. Continuous, proactive planting is not a burden. It's a privilege. It's the path to staying vibrant, relevant, and ready for whatever the future holds. It's how you take control of your professional destiny and ensure that your ambition is not just a fleeting wish, but a growing, flourishing reality, season after season. It's the work you do on yourself that pays the greatest dividends. Remember that. All right, my friends, we've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? We've journeyed through the very landscape of your ambition, viewing it not as a haphazard series of events, but as a fertile field subject to the natural and inevitable rhythm of seasons. We began by synthesizing this wisdom. We looked at the critical importance of understanding these career seasons, the energetic planting of spring, the diligent cultivation and growth of summer, the rich harvest of autumn, and the reflective preparatory quiet of winter. We acknowledge that each season has its unique character, its unique demands, and its unique opportunity. We then explored the active strategies for navigating those often challenging career winters, emphasizing that these are not times for mere survival, but for deep learning, for building resilience, and for careful strategic planning. We saw that winter, approached with wisdom, can be a period of profound strengthening, and equally, we discussed how to truly leverage the harvests of your career autumns, not just by enjoying the fruits of your labor, but by wisely reinvesting, preparing for future cycles, and ensuring the long-term health of your professional endeavors. And finally, we delved into the vital, ongoing importance of continuous planting. This proactive development of skills, nurturing of networks, and consistent pursuit of knowledge is the engine of continuous improvement. It's how you ensure that you are always preparing for future harvests, always becoming more valuable, always ready to attract the opportunities that align with your deepest ambitions. This isn't just about working hard on your job, it's about working diligently on yourself. What does all this give us? It gives us the power of adaptation and foresight. By understanding and embracing the concept of career seasons, you move from being a passive recipient of circumstance, tossed about by the winds of change, to becoming a proactive architect of your professional journey. You learn to anticipate. You learn to prepare. You learn to adapt your strategies, not based on panic or wishful thinking, but on a clear understanding of the season you are in and the season that is likely to follow. You stop fighting the current and learn to harness its power. This is not a one-time fix, my friends. This is an ongoing journey. Managing your career seasons, cultivating your professional landscape is a lifelong process of learning, adapting, and growing. It's a continuous cycle, and this aligns perfectly with that fundamental belief in continuous personal and professional development that I've championed for so long. The work is never truly done, because each new season brings fresh tasks and fresh opportunities for growth. And isn't that exciting? Isn't that what keeps life interesting? What keeps ambition alive? So as we draw this to a close, I want to leave you with this final thought, an encapsulation, if you will, of everything we've discussed. Your career is a field, and you are the farmer. Understand the seasons, for they will surely come. During the spring, plant with diligence and enthusiasm, for the seeds you sow then are the foundation of all that follows. In summer, cultivate with care and consistent effort, nurturing your growing potential, weeding out distractions. In autumn, harvest with gratitude and wisdom, gathering the rewards of your labor, but also selecting the best seeds for the future. And in winter, reflect and plan with foresight. Learn the lessons, sharpen your tools, and prepare your spirit for the renewal that spring will surely bring. Do this, my friends, diligently and with understanding, and each cycle will yield greater abundance than the last. The tools are in your hands. The season is now. Don't let another day pass without asking yourself, what season am I in? And then what must I do in this season to prepare for the next, and the one after that? You have the capacity. You have the potential. Now go out there and be the wise farmer of your own ambition. Cultivate a career that is not just successful, but deeply rewarding and ever evolving. Thank you. It's been a pleasure sharing these ideas with you. Go make it happen.